Go, Brawley. Go, Brawley. Come on, Brawley. I just knocked something over doing that intro. Hello everyone, it is I, NIAB, and welcome to my Dragon Ball Super Brawley review. Now, I've wanted to do reviews on the channel for a while, and technically speaking I have. I've been doing JoJo Part 5 reviews, although I'm probably gonna get rid of those, or actually, I'll probably end up putting it on my second account. Seems like the most logical thing to do, as well as the Fist of the North Star stuff, and who knows, I could upload all the rest of them, like, on that account. I might. Probably not make more JoJo videos, because, unfortunately, the last review was episode 7, and since then there's been 10 episodes. So unless I decide to review them all, that's not happening. But the Fist of the North Star, I might continue on there. We'll see. But overall, today we're doing the Dragon Ball Super Brawley review. Now, oh boy, this movie, honestly, I went into it a little bit scared, because first of all, I was already spoiled about this. And speaking of spoilers, highly suggest it'll be in the title as well. In the title. This review is going to be very spoiler heavy. I'm basically going to be talking about everything in the movie, all the references that happen, because I really enjoy references. If you may have seen my update video, I really love references in movies and anything. When they reference either the thing they originate from, such as Dragon Ball referencing Dragon Ball, or Dragon Ball referencing some other series, it's great. Which they do actually do in this movie, and it's perfect. But, yeah, we're going to be talking about a lot of spoiler stuff, so I highly suggest, if you do not want to see spoilers, because I'm not going to judge you, if you just want to watch the review, and you don't care about spoilers, and you haven't seen the movie, I'm not going to judge you with that. But if you do not like spoilers at all, I highly suggest you click off, maybe go watch the movie for yourself, maybe just wait for the DVD to come out. Who knows? I know it'll take a while, but just watch it somewhere else, or just wait to watch it, and then come back and watch this. I mean, you'll probably watch other people review it, but hey, if you want to watch my review, that's fine. Just wait, come back. If not, if you don't care, if you've already seen the movie, then you can continue watching, of course. So this movie, wow, it was really good, because honestly, I went into it a little bit scared that it wasn't going to be too good, because it's about Brawley, and if you don't know, Brawley's a really shitty movie character. He's very cool in terms of like how powerful he is and stuff in a way. In terms of a character himself, like on what his backstory is and everything, the original Brawley, I mean, yeah, he sucks. It's literally Goku cried a lot, and now he hates Goku, and like, that's it. That's pretty much it. There's really nothing else to say. He just hates Goku because Goku cried a lot, and he starts yelling Kakarot over and over and over again. So it's really stupid. Now, as for the movie, yeah, it was really good. So I was scared about, or no. So yeah, I was scared about how this movie could have been, because Brawley's backstory originally was really bad, and the movies, in terms of action, they were pretty good. I mean, I won't lie, first one was pretty good in terms of action. Second one, I mean, it was alright. It wasn't really good, but it was alright at most. And it had the family Kamehameha, which was a really nice moment. And then there's Bio Brawley, which, I mean, not a lot of people enjoy Bio Brawley. Bio Brawley just kind of exists, and some people are aware of him. He wasn't that good of a movie. He was kind of really bad. I mean, the second movie too, in a way, but like, the second half, or like, you know, around the end is where it got good. So, it's a little bit. But it was actually really good, because they did it really well with Brawley's backstory and everything. And I will actually talk about the whole plot and everything, start from beginning to end. But they did it well. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm a little bit upset because, in a way, I decided to get around to buying most of the Xenoverse DLC, because I'm like, you know what, even though I don't play this game much, I'd rather play fighters, because I enjoy fighting games a lot. I'm like, you know what, I'll just buy the DLC, see what's in it and everything, and I did overall enjoy the DLC. It wasn't bad. There was it felt a little bit lacking, but overall I did enjoy it. But unfortunately, Frieza had a line in it that kind of felt like a spoiler, and we'll get into that. And then when I saw his Dokkan super attack, yeah, that pretty much confirmed it for me. So I was already well aware of what happened, but we'll get into that. So let's start from the very beginning. In the beginning, we see Planet Vegeta pretty much 41 years before present day. Like where Goku and Vegeta are training and everything, and like, you know, Broly's about to like join Frieza's army and everything and all that. But anyways, so we start 41 years before the present day, and we see the old Planet Vegeta, like way back when King Cold was overall the leader or emperor of it. Like King Cold was the emperor of the universe. So that's really cool to see. That it's like, oh, see, here's King Cold. Here's when he was the emperor. He arrives to Planet Vegeta saying that he's retiring from being the emperor, and he's giving his son basically the title of emperor. You know, like a prodigy. So Frieza now owns the title of emperor. He's the whole, like, he commands all the Saiyans and everything. And now they all have to bow to Frieza, just like in the actual show. And it's really interesting because you see King Vegeta go for a handshake, and King Cold's just like, no. And he's like, he shows him that this is his son Frieza. Like, he's basically just done. And you could just tell by that. And you do see, here's a nice little neat reference. Here's reference number 1, which is actually funny. If you are someone close to me and have talked to me personally and everything, if you went to watch the movie with me, like if you were with my group of people and you happened to watch this video, you would know why me saying the word reference is funny, because you know what, if you know it, you'll laugh, but overall most people won't get it, but I'm just saying. But here's the first little reference. We do see Fasha, what's his name, Tora, Fasha, Tora, what's his name, Shugesh, and I forgot the last one, the dude with the like overall bald head but then hair over here. I forgot his name, but you do see all 4 of them on each side, and it's interesting. It's like, oh look, Bardock's crew from the Bardock special. That's actually pretty cool. So yeah, so after that, Frieza does show them, he's like, oh, I brought a gift for all of you. Here's some scouters. See, they work like the current scouts you have. And then he puts it on and goes, now see, they track your opponent's power level, and oh, we have some weapons on us. There, and he just kills everyone who has weapons. And that just shows you, like, how much of a threat he is, because he's immediately like, oh, cool, you have weapons on me, alright, cool. And to be fair, I'm sure King Cold would have done the same if he had a scouter and everything, but it just shows you, like, and you already are aware of how, like, much of a tyrant Frieza is, unless this is your first introduction to Dragon Ball. But overall, you're already aware of how much of a tyrant he is, so seeing this is like, yeah, no, it makes sense, it's Frieza. So yeah, he shows them the scouters, says he's gonna give them 500, and then just takes off. He pisses off. So like King Vegeta's there, and he's looking at his son, aka the Vegeta we know, Vegeta. And he's like, oh, you're gonna, like, you're my proud prodigy. You're gonna be the king someday. You'll be the emperor of the universe, not Frieza. And as he's like walking back, and you know, he's like, all right, time to go back to where I was. He sees Broly in the capsule of where all the high class Saiyans are. Because overall, that area is like high class Saiyans, and I don't know where the mid classes get put. Who knows? They might actually get put in that area, but or you know, because there's the area where Vegeta is, and then there's the high class people, but then there's like a huge bottom area where there's like a bunch of other pods, and I'm starting to think those are mid class, unless they are high class. That could be an entirely high class room, or it could be mid class, or it could be literally every other class that isn't high class. And basically he sees Broly and he's like, wait, what's this kid doing here? He doesn't belong here. And they show him that, yeah, no, Broly's kind of insane. You literally put a scouter on him, you make him cry, he breaks it, and his potential just shows that he could be the legendary Super Saiyan. And honestly, in my opinion, him breaking the scouter, and I know this is Broly, I'm well aware that this is Broly, he's gonna have insane power. But him breaking the kind of shows you something. Because Namek Saga Vegeta broke Frieza's scouter. But that was when he was on Namek. After he fought Goku and everything, after he had a ton of other injuries from like Raccoon and stuff. When he was fighting first form Frieza, he broke Frieza's scouter. But then when Broly was a baby, all he had to do was get upset and he just broke it. So there's that. So King Vegeta thinks he's going to be a threat to the entire universe because Broly's that powerful that he could be. And he sent him off to a planet known as Wampa. And Paragus just gets mad. He's like, you know what? I'm going to have my revenge one day. I don't care if it's you or your son. I'm going to have my revenge. Flies out the window. Goes into a space pod with... I forgot the dude's name. I honestly forgot his name. But he goes into a space pod with him. Or overall the Frieza ships. Not really space pod. The Frieza ships. And they fly off. Go to Wampa. And they find Broly. And he's just massacred a bunch of these like spider things that we see there. And it's basically said that he went into a gray ape. Now they're stuck there because the ship basically took damage on the area where it could fly. So unfortunately, they're stuck. And they don't have that much of a food supply. So Paragus decides, you know what? We can survive if there's only 2 people. He takes out his gun, shoots the dude. So now it's just Paragus and Broly on that planet. Then we go 3 years into the future, and we learn about what's happening with Bardock, because now Bardock has a son. So, and we all know who that son is, unless you're new to Dragon Ball. And Broly is pretty much just on Vampa still. We don't learn anything else about him until like the present day. But overall, Bardock is just flying towards planet Vegeta, and they see like, huh, they called all of us back, and now they're all here for some reason. He could have came down and talked to us, or, you know, just projected himself to us, but, like, he's deciding to stay up here. I don't know why Frieza's doing this. I've got a bad feeling about this, because he's literally just calling us back, and then staying up there. So, overall, they go back down, and apparently Frieza's men have been asking around about the legendary Super Saiyan. And Frieza, there is one error with this movie. Frieza asks, and I could be totally wrong, but I mean, I guess the Oracle Fish kind of said it, but I don't know if they never stated if Beerus said, like, was talking around to people, because overall, what is said is in Battle of Gods that Beerus and the Oracle Fish were overall talking about this. I'm pretty sure didn't even know about it until Beerus suggested it. But Frieza goes asking around if the Super Saiyan exists and the Super Saiyan God. But last time I checked, the Super Saiyan God was only discussed with Beerus and the Oracle Fish. Unless Super changed it. Because I'm going to be honest, I skipped right to the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament because I had already seen Battle of Gods and I'd already seen Resurrection F. So I skipped right to Universe 6 versus Universe 7 because there was no point. I'd already seen the movies. And now, though they are different and they do kind of discuss it in a different way, I just wanted to do that instead. So yeah. Frieza goes asking around about the legendary Super Saiyan. Overall, they say the legendary Super Saiyan. They do say Super Saiyan God once, but that's only once. So yeah, then Bardock realizes, oh shit, Frieza's asking for the legendary Super Saiyan. He could think it's real, and that could mean we could all die, because he just called us back. He then goes to Gine, aka his wife, aka Goku's mom, and he discusses to her that, yeah, we're going to send Goku off. And while she doesn't entirely agree at first, he's like, listen, Frieza's calling us back. The legendary Super Saiyan could exist, even though it's a legend. It could exist. He thinks it exists. Who knows? Anyways, we're sending him off now. So they send him off. And I'm going to be honest, this scene is it kind of grabs your heart for a minute. Because it's just like, like you like this pain. Because... it hurts when you think about it, because when Goku gets sent off, Gine starts crying and starts saying, don't forget about us, Kakarot. And that hurts. That fucking hurts, because you realize, oh shit, what's about to happen at the start of Dragon Ball. So, yeah. Kind of, ironic, you know? Bump your head, bump your head, bump your head, disappoint your mother. I don't deserve I don't deserve to say that at all. So anyways, yeah, so Goku gets sent to Earth, and basically, we see this weird scene where, of course, Frieza does the supernova and everything, and it's the scene we all know, we all love. But the weird part is about this scene is when Bardock goes to blast it back, he's battle damaged. And I know everyone pointed this out, but he's battle damaged. So are we going to get like an uncut version where he's actually fighting and stuff? Because that's what I hope for. Because if not, it's kind of weird, because I know they're trying to be like fitting to the original Bardock special and saying, hey look, here's him battle damage, just like in the original, and that does make sense. But at the same time, it's like, it looks weird, because out of nowhere, you just see Bardock and he's battle damage and he goes, wah! But anyways, they all die. We pretty much know this at this point, but they all die. And then we see Nappa, two other Saiyans, which I guess there's two other Saiyans alive, somehow. Or at the moment they're alive. And Vegeta and Raditz. And Vegeta and Raditz are still kids, of course. Nappa's the mid-class supporting them. Because I'm pretty sure, at this point, I feel like mid-class is overall they support you. Like, they are supposed to support the high-class people. And overall that's what's happening. And I know that's debatable because Raditz is there. But then again, I think Raditz is like mid-class because he goes with Vegeta. He's told to go with Vegeta. And he talks about how Goku is a low class, or Kakarot, to be correct. So yeah, they talk about how Tarble, and Vegeta has a pretty great line, which is, "Oh, now I'll never get to be King Vegeta." That's pretty great. Then he talks about how Tarble exists, like, you know, he's like, yeah, my brother is alive, like, exists, but I don't know if he's alive, and I don't care. And then Brian says, oh yeah, like, my brother too, but he's just a low-class warrior. Although I think Mom said something about sending him to another planet, which, you know, it's like, hey, he kind of already knows. And also, yeah, it just goes to show you, Gine just sent out a message to Raditz being like, hey, I sent your brother somewhere, yeah, the end. So we see Goku get sent to Earth, and we get to see this really cool transition while Chala is playing. And we get to see this cool transition of Goku as a kid to Goku still as a kid but slightly older, to him and Vegeta fighting, and then him and Vegeta fighting in present day. Like, if I remember correctly, you do see Vegeta in the Saiyan armor for a split second, and then it goes into the actual, like, training suit he's in, and they're fighting in present day. And present day is kind of a loose term because supposedly Dragon Ball age is like 700 something. I could be wrong, but overall that's what they like to state most of the time. But who knows? It could be actual present day. Although I think it does say 700 something at the top, if I remember correctly. I'd have to check, but we'll see. Anyways, so yeah, we see them training and stuff. They're on this, I forgot what it is, but overall it's like a resort that Bulma has. And Whis and Beerus are there. Beerus is trying to nap. Whis is just enjoying the desserts as always. And Goku talks about how he wants to become, like, stronger and everything, and the Tournament of Power really got him hyped up because he fought so many strong warriors, such as, like, Kefla, Jiren, that's it. And of course a few others. I'm just exaggerating about that, but, like, you know, he talks about that, he goes Super Saiyan, and he's like, yeah, like, he's all hyped now. And then Vegeta wants to get stronger because Goku's an idiot and decided to revive Frieza for the tournament. And now Frieza's completely resurrected, he doesn't have his halo anymore, and yeah, and it turns out the Dragon Balls were stolen all this time because Trunks calls Bulma and says the Dragon Balls were stolen by one of Frieza's men. And she talks about how, and later on, she does talk about how, actually, there's a really great scene before we even get into that, which is Whis asking Beerus if he wants to come, which would be interesting in a way, you know, seeing Beerus versus Brawly, or just Beerus observing the fight, which he kind of does. He does overall observe it while he's napping. But we see Beerus just sitting there being like, no, I want to nap. There's nothing good to eat there, I just want to nap. So Bulma decides, alright, she takes Bulla, or Bra, if you want to be correct, and gives it to Beerus, and says, alright, you're a babysitter now. Alright, off we go. and Beerus is just now babysitting Bulma. We don't see him ever babysit her properly, except for one scene where it's not even him babysitting her. She's just sitting on his chest, and he's talking about how, like, well, everything worked out nicely. And so yeah, they go to the Arctic and everything. And Bulma talks about how her wish is because she wanted to, like, she wanted to become or look younger by 5 years, not become, because then that'd be like the peel off thing. So she wanted to look younger by 5 years. This does lead into an actual great joke, because she talks about how 10 years would make her look way too young, and people would think she's using some sort of product and everything. So if she does 5 years, it makes more sense. And this leads into, it shows her, like, face and everything, or not really face, but like her mouth overall, and it transitions into Frieza's mouth, and it shows Frieza, and they're asking, like, one of Frieza's soldiers says, "Hey Frieza, so we just need to get the last ball, but because of that, I'm just wondering, what wish do you want to make?" And he takes a few guesses, and Frieza's and there is an interesting thing, which shows that Frieza's character is kind of developing as well. He's kind of becoming something similar to Goku and Vegeta, where he asks if Frieza's wish is to never take battle damage again, and Frieza straight up says, "But what would be the fun in that? That would just ruin the fun of the battle." So Frieza's now just interested completely in battling. He's like, yeah, I want to take damage, but I want to be able to give that damage back to them, so like a revenge type of act. So it shows like Frieza's character is actually developing really nicely. Then one of his soldiers says, "Oh, Frieza wants to become like taller because everyone talks about how short he is." And Frieza says, "Yep, that's my wish. I want to become 5 centimeters taller, not 10, because that'll show that I grow too much. I want to show like I'm still growing. I'm still getting stronger and everything." Like he wants to look intimidating. Like he's still aging in a way, and he's still becoming bigger and bigger. And if overall he's kind of young. So it's pretty great. And also, of course, he says no to my second form because that's my second form. I want to stay in my final form and my golden form because those are both overall the same thing, and be able to be taller in those. And ironically enough, his fourth form, when you think about it, or fourth and final form, is kind of the like shortest when you think about it, because the third form actually has that huge head, and then the second form has the, like, of course, just he's huge in general. And then this first form, which he is taller than his first form, but you know that's his first form. So yeah, Frieza talks about that, and then they find the last Dragon Ball, and Goku just immediately I forgot to mention, they finally arrive. Vegeta shoots down their ship when they try to escape. Goku slams down, and it's pretty great seeing him just like steam up with his nose and everything. And they're like, "Oh, look at that monster right there." And Frieza finally arrives. He does a cool little, like, he makes a small supernova and blasts all the clouds away. And then they arrive, and they get ready to fight. Overall, in a way, because Frieza arrives with Brawly and Paragus, and Oh, and I forgot to mention this. Oh my god. Oh, that was a dumb mistake. Oh yeah, I was focusing way too much on Goku Vegeta. Sorry about that. So, and honestly, I should have said this before the whole Arctic thing, because this does happen before the Arctic thing. So let's go back a minute. Because I forgot a huge, huge story element. This happens immediately after the whole wish thing, like what Frieza talked about. Sorry about that. As you can tell, I'm doing this off script. I'm gonna keep talking, and I'm gonna become very tired. So that's that. So let's go back a minute, shall we? So we got introduced to these two characters, which they're both overall pretty great. One of them I forgot the name of. The old wrinkly dude that overall works for the Frieza Force. He's more of a technician than he is a actual Frieza Force like battle type of person. And then there's Chilai, who this character is actually great. I mean, she's a very fan servicey character a lot. Just shows like Toriyama's inner Toriyama, which is a very fan servicey character in a way. But at the same time, she's a great character. She has some great lines and stuff, and she's pretty great. I'd like to see her more in Super. And they finally arrive at Vampa because they sense this really big power level, and they're like, "Huh, that's weird." And they're looking around like, "We can't find this power level. Where are they?" And Paragus says, "Don't go." And like, you can tell he's aged. Like, he's aged so much, and he's possibly almost gonna die. And he almost passes out. And yeah, he's super old. He has a power level that's somewhat. It's not really somewhat big. It's overall like Raditz in a way, or Nappa, something around the lines of that. So yeah, he's there telling them to not go because he could just go back with them and everything. And they're a little bit convinced. They're like, you know what? He has a pretty good power level. We could definitely bring him back and get some good rewards for it and stuff. You know what? This wouldn't be bad. And then one of the giant spiders appears, and they realize, oh wow, we can't do nothing to that. And Paragus just says the word Brawly. Brawly hears him, gets up, dashes over, kicks the fucking spider, and it's gone. And they just realize, the scouter can't sense him for something. Like, the scouter just doesn't have a power level on him. He's that strong that the power level just says nothing. So yeah, they get really excited and they're like, oh, we're gonna get a big reward for this. This guy's power level is huge. And they bring him back to Frieza. Frieza's like, alright, he's pretty interesting and stuff. And we do see this scene where you really feel bad for Brawly in this movie. Like, you genuinely feel bad for him. This is overall Brawly's movie. I mean, it's obvious it does say Brawly, but like they focus mostly on Brawly, and it's like you feel bad for him at moments because Frieza talks about how like, yo, you brought danger on my ship. You see what this guy can do? Like, he could go great ape, or he could just become mad. And it's like, oh no, don't worry. I packed this taser with me. Like, Paragus takes out the taser and everything, and you see Brawly, and you really feel bad for him right now because you see him go like this. And like he's trying to get out of the taser, like he's trying to get like the neck collar that just tases him off. So it's like, wow, like they really made you feel bad for him because it just shows you he's practically been abused like this his entire life. He's basically been tased pretty much, just the entire time from when he was a kid to now. So it's interesting, and like the two of them see it, like Chila and the other dude, where they're backing up and they realize, oh shit. And Frieza's like, you know what? You two would make good like additions to my team. Reward those two for what they brought because these two are really good. Or that might be later on. Actually, no, I think it's at that moment. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's at that moment. But then again, yeah, who cares? Because it just happens at one of those points. It either happens in the scene after or the scene before, and I'm pretty sure it happens in the scene before. Probably. Guarantee it does. But then again, I could be wrong. So yeah, then they both have a shower, they get new clothes and everything. And she realizes, oh, like, you still have this disgusting, like, little cloth on. You should really wash it or something, or just get rid of it. And Brawly just gets pissed and he says, it stays on! Like, it's special to me. And Paragus just stops him from talking and everything. Sheila gets upset about Paragus stopping him from talking because Brawly should be able to talk on his own. And then this really drunk dude just appears before them and he's like, hey, Sheila, you should come to our table. Like, I'm really the strongest guy in this army. These guys are weak and pathetic. And the old, well, we're just gonna call him old dude because I honestly forgot his name. I genuinely forgot his name. But he pushes him over, and Brawly just gets up, walks over to him, and it's like, oh, you got a problem with me? And Brawly's like, yeah, I do. And he attempts to punch Brawly, does absolutely nothing to him. Brawly grabs him by the neck, and he starts to get pissed off, and you can kind of see his eyes go feral for a second, which we'll get into why that matters later. And, yeah, starts to pick him up and just strangle him. And then Paragus is like, nope, taser. And Sheila gets upset at Paragus because why would you tase him? Like, even though, yes, he was going a little bit out of control, first off, it's your fault. Second off, why would you tase him? And Paragus eventually just goes to this meeting because Frieza would like an audience, and he just wants Paragus. He doesn't want Brawly. And secretly, she grabbed the taser and broke it. And while she is a great character, she is the reason that this whole problem happens in this movie. In a way, Paragus, yeah, overall because he did abuse Brawly, but breaking the taser, I know Brawly and Paragus would have probably died if she didn't, because Frieza probably would have killed them. But breaking that taser kind of caused a big Brawly problem to happen. So there's that. So they show him some more, like, some good food they have, as well as, like, normal water, which Brawly's never used to. And then he talks about the story of his pelt, aka, like, you know, the belt on him that he's made of fur. And wow, this backstory. They gave him a, like, pretty great backstory on that. I'm really glad. And it's, like, it's a cute one, it's kind of sad, And so yeah, and it's like Brawly made a friend. Like you never thought you would never think you'd hear the word Brawly made a friend. And as it turns out, he had a friend which was one of the creatures there, one of the huge ones that most of the spider things tried to suck the blood out of, and they'd end up getting eaten because it was prey versus prey, basically. And he named it Ba after the sound it made. And he was good friends with Ba. Him and Ba became actual friends. Even though he was a monster that liked to yell a lot, they were overall like nice to each other. And Paragus said, "Well, you're playing around instead of training." So he took out his gun, shot Ba's ear, and Ba now hates both Paragus and Brawly. And Brawly kept the ear and made it his pelt, so that like now he has something to remember him by. And it hurts because it's like, damn, Brawly really had a friend. It was cute and everything, and this happened now. And so now we overall get the scene where they're getting prepared to go to Earth and everything. And the Dragon Balls have been fully collected. As I said, the Goku scene happens. Frieza does the small supernova, clears the clouds, and then they arrive. And Paragus, Brawly, and Frieza come out of the ship, and they talk. Paragus realizes, oh shit, yep, there he is. Vegeta is like King Vegeta's son, Vegeta, and he just sends Brawly right at him because Brawly's getting pissed off by seeing the mirror side of Vegeta. So he's like, you know what? Go ahead, attack Brawly. And Brawly just runs straight towards Vegeta and starts punching him and everything. And Vegeta's like, you know what? This is pretty interesting. And Brawly kind of gets overpowered. You never thought you'd hear the word, but Brawly kind of gets overpowered at the beginning. Vegeta starts to go Super Saiyan a little bit. You see the aura. His hair isn't entirely Super Saiyan yet, but you see the aura around him, and he's starting to punch Brawly and everything, and Brawly's getting hurt. And then he goes Super Saiyan, and at that point, Brawly's kind of outmatched, and especially later on. I mean, Brawly learns as he fights, as Vegeta mentioned, and he's like getting better, and they're kind of even. They start to become evenly matched. And then while Vegeta's going in the air, he turns into Super Saiyan God. This is the first time in without non-canon such as the manga, because the manga actually is different from the animes and stuff, that we see Super Saiyan God Vegeta. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see something like Super Saiyan God Vegeta. He starts blasting Brawly back, and you see that at this point, yeah, Brawly has like no chance against him. And he punches Brawly so hard that he practically like runs into like not even 4 or 5 glaciers. So it's like, oof. He really hit him hard there, like to the point where it's just send him through all that. And Brawly's starting to get pissed now because it's like he's almost outmatched by a person that he hates, and on top of that, he doesn't want to die and everything. He's like trying to fight at this point. And Paragus is like, well, luckily I have where's my taser? My taser is gone. This is really bad. And he tries calling Brawly to come back and everything, and Vegeta just shoots a like weird Big Bang attack laser, which is fine. The Big Bang attack has been done that before. Vegito did it like that, if I remember correctly. I believe Vegito did do it like that. And yeah, he shoots the laser. Brawly goes down into the ocean, and he comes back up, and he creates this like whirlpool, and he goes feral, or as the games like to call him, Brawly Fury. Now at this point, Brawly's just lost complete control. He's like gone overall insane. He's just can't. He overall can't talk anymore. He's just gonna scream. He's gonna fight. He has no control over himself. And in a way, they explain it in such a way, and with his eyes as well. It really makes it like further proven as a point. It's basically a gray ape, but contained in his normal Saiyan form, and his eyes go yellow. And I'm just sitting here like, oh, so basically he's a Super Saiyan 4 now. He just went into Super Saiyan 4. He doesn't have the tail, he doesn't have the fur, but he's Super Saiyan 4. So that's interesting. And he starts kicking the shit out of Vegeta. Vegeta tries to punch him while he's in God form, and Brawly's like, no. And also we see the giant mouth laser, which is a really cool attack. It's brand new to Brawly, and it seems to be his brand new special move. Instead of the, like whole giant ball, it's now a mouth laser. So we see that, and Goku decides to step in. And when you think about it, this is actually the other way around, because Resurrection F, Goku went first, and then Vegeta went. And now it's Vegeta going first, and then Goku going. But that's mostly because Brawly immediately went after Vegeta. But still. So now we get to see Goku versus Brawly, and we hear these lyrics such as like Kakarot and go Brawly, go, go. and honestly, it's pretty great. I'm not gonna lie, like hearing that music's pretty great. And there's a really great scene that I love in this fight, while Goku's still in normal form, where Broly's beating him up in like first person, like it makes you look like you're Broly, like you're shooting the blast and everything, like. Here, let me show you. So basically, it's weird to show, but like it's doing this with the camera. So it's really interesting because you get to see that, and it's like you're Broly now, but only like for a minute or two, and then they go back to them fighting. Goku goes Super Saiyan. They start fighting more. Goku goes God, and he does an interesting new, like skill I guess that he has, where he just charges up, does this, or some shit like that, and just traps Broly. And it's basically like he basically binded Broly in his own ki. That's how it works. And then he talks about like, we fought a lot of villains, you know, but you don't seem like you're one of them. Like, you don't have to listen to what people tell you to do. Like, you're just literally listening to them. If you don't, you could actually be a good guy and everything. And Broly's just like, at this point, Broly's way too far gone. Like, even though he kind of listens at the start and he's like this, he just stops and he's like, you know what? No. And he reverses it back onto Goku. Goku's now trapped in Broly's ki, and he just punches the shit out of Goku. And they make a neat little Avengers reference, which I don't know if I missed any other references. I probably did. I mean, other than the Bardock one, which is like, the Bardock one's kind of a reference to the original Bardock special, but then again, the uncut version could explain why he's battle damaged, but if not, it's kind of a reference. And then there's the Fasha and stuff. I don't think I did miss any other references overall. Like I said, I really love references, and I do want to talk about them in the review video. But they do make a nice reference here, and this is a reference to a different type of media, type of thing. They do make a nice little reference to Avengers, where Broly's grabbing, like, Goku while he's in God form. May I point out, Goku's in God form, and this really drives home the point of that reference, where he grabs Goku and starts slamming him around like that. Like, it's basically like the Hulk versus Loki in the Avengers. Like, it's exactly like that. Goku's in God form as well, which even further proves that point. So it's pretty great, and it's pretty obvious. Everyone's pointed it out at this point. So at this point, Goku's just battle damage, and this is where the end of the movie kind of gets its whole thing, where Piccolo tries to contact Goku, and he's like, you know, I'd want to help, but like, I feel like I'd just get in the way. And Goku's like, yeah, it's fine. You know what? Just stay there. I might just teleport over to you, and then we'll figure out something from there. But overall, you know what? I can handle this on my own. Goku goes blue, and we get an interesting transformation with Goku going blue, because he kind of has like a green aura, and then in a way, it doesn't entirely go blue at first, because he's battle damaged to the point where his hair actually goes white for a second, and you see like the spark, like, not really sparks, but you see the flares coming up that are white. So it's like, oh shit, he almost just went Ultra Instinct, and then he is blue, like he goes into blue. Because overall it's like, yeah, he's battle damaged, but he's not to the point where it's like, I'm going to die. So it's like, his body's kind of like, yeah, no, you don't need it yet. And he hasn't fully mastered it to the point that he can control it. Or at least not in the anime, because the manga, I'm well aware that the manga decided to do that for some reason. So, yeah. So he goes blue, he starts fighting Broly, and now he kind of has the upper hand in a way. Well, actually not really, they're both kind of even. Yeah, overall they're both kind of even, they're fighting, and Broly just destroys the ice and turns it into lava and everything. And Frieza's like, this is a bad situation. Broly doesn't know how to go Super Saiyan, and now we're here. So, this is pretty bad. We have to do so much editing. Ooh. So now, yeah, Broly and Goku are fighting in blue, and Frieza's like, you know what? Are you sure this is his limit? And Paragus is like, yeah, I'm afraid so. And he's like, I'm not so sure. Because he doesn't know how to go Super Saiyan yet. And he remembers Krillin and everything, like what he did to Krillin that made Goku go Super Saiyan. And he's like, you know what, let's put him to a test. Puts his beam towards Paragus, shoots him, kills Paragus, and then goes, Broly, look! It's such a tragedy! And honestly, that line is actually great. I can't even replicate it. It's so amazing. And yeah, he just points out to Broly, yeah, your dad got killed by a stray, like, blast. Like, one of you shot a blast and it killed him. probably Goku, so kill Goku. And Broly goes Super Saiyan, and him going Super Saiyan is really great. I love this scene. I feel like not enough people talk about it. His pupil literally gets destroyed, and his eye fully goes red. And he comes up out of the ground with his like green aura, and they're starting to break time and space. You'll see it later on as well. Actually, you'll see it a great deal later on, but like you'll start to see it now and everything. And yeah, so now Goku's like, oh shit, I gotta deal with this. So then Broly does this really cool attack where he actually just shoots out a bunch of beams and they start blowing up everywhere. And Goku's deflecting all of them, and his shirt comes off and everything. And Vegeta decides to step in as well. Vegeta goes blue. They start trying to fight Broly, and they do a really cool move, which unfortunately fails the moment it tries to touch Broly. They do a Gallic Kamehameha. I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've ever seen this, and if it isn't, it's probably the first time we've seen it in canon. Because the only other move we've seen is Final Kamehameha. So Gallic Kamehameha is really interesting, and yeah, and everyone. Overall, I've seen videos of people in the theaters like getting hyped about this. Overall, I went to watch it on like the 4th day of the movie being out, so there wasn't too much hype around that, but there was a lot of laughter both at the Frieza saying this is such a tragedy, and a scene that we'll talk about in a minute, like literally, well, actually in a few seconds. But yeah, Broly just breaks it within a matter of a second or two, and then they fly up because they're like, Goku's like, you know what? There's only one other option now for me to do like my last plan, and they fly past Frieza and say, oh, have fun, Frieza, and Broly just comes up on the entire screen. Basically, Broly's just fitting the entire screen like this, about to slam Frieza into the ground, and Frieza's just like, wait, I'm fighting now? And everyone's just, honestly, everyone in the theater was laughing. Like, that day, and almost every day of the movie being out, except for maybe the week after, I've seen not only clips, but me watching the movie in theaters, have like heard people just laughing on it, and I was laughing, honestly. I wasn't expecting that. And yeah, so Frieza just like gets the shit kicked out of him. Broly's constantly beating him up, and Goku decides to instant transmission towards Piccolo with Vegeta. And Goku's like, you know what? You know the fusion dance? And Vegeta's like, oh yeah, you know, I heard Trunks talk about it, like when him and Goten turn into Gotenks. It's like, wait a minute, you want us to do that silly dance? And it's like, it's cool because it kind of imitates the dance and everything. It's, you know, it's funny. So yeah, and then it shows Frieza still getting the shit kicked out of him. He goes golden, tries to fight Broly, still gets the shit kicked out of him. And constantly Goku and Vegeta are failing the fusion. Like, they show it to, they demonstrate it by Piccolo and Goku doing it. And just to say here, in case anybody is wondering, the fusion dance is not like the Patara. Nobody can just wear the Patara or like do the fusion dance and they can automatically fuse together. They need to have a power level that is overall evenly matched, and if I remember correctly, their height has to match. Because the angle has to match, therefore the height has to match. And overall, or not really matched, but they have to be close. Like, Goku is slightly taller than Vegeta, but they have to overall match in terms of height. And Piccolo is overall, I believe, taller than Goku. So it's like, it's kind of a problem. And that's why that doesn't happen when they try to fuse together. And I think actually in general the height has to overall be the same. If I remember correctly, because it just doesn't work if you don't. That or their powers just weren't even. That's probably the biggest reason, is their powers weren't even, therefore they didn't fuse. So yeah, then Goku and Vegeta tried to fuse once, and unfortunately Vegeta slips up with his top finger, and they become Veku, aka Fat Gogeta. And, you know, neat little reference to the original Fusion Reborn. So yeah, they have to wait 30 minutes now to fuse again. Then their angles are completely off and they become the Skinny Gogeta, which doesn't have a name because they never became Skinny Gogeta before. And then that's another 30 minutes. So Frieza's getting beat up for a straight hour. Even though it's like a minute or two, it's for a straight hour Frieza's getting beat up. Which is kind of ironic. Frieza's the same person who said 5 minutes and it became half an hour. But then 1 hour is just 1 minute. You know, it's kind of ironic. And then they fuse one more time, and it works perfectly. They become Gogeta. And this is the first time we get to see Gogeta in normal form. And they're trying to think of names and everything, because they're like, we gotta think of something that will sound cooler, so just give us an extra minute or two, what would be a good name here? Gogeta. And they teleport, and They teleport where Frieza is, and now Broly's going to fight Whis because he's like, "Oh, look at that guy over there. Let me go find him." But yeah, so now Frieza's just there, and Gogeta appears. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna fight Broly. Like you were dead for a while. We have this technique that we can fuse together. So now we're gonna fight Broly." And Frieza's like, "Oh, that's not fair." And this line is great in terms of the Japanese version. The English dub, I don't get me wrong, I really love the English dub of this movie. It's great, and it's what I watched when I went to the theaters. But the line in Japanese kind of works better for this scene. Because Gogeta says, "You stay right there, I'll deal with you later," Frieza, in the dub. But in the actual original thing, he just tells Frieza, "Yeah, you're one to talk about cheating." Like, yeah. And he just goes towards Broly. And, well, not really goes towards Broly, but he does instant transmission. And Whis is just dodging all of Broly's attacks. And then he appears and he's like, "Don't worry, Whis, I got this now." And they start fighting. This fight is great. We get to hear the, like, "Go, Broly, go, Broly," like, song where Goku, or not Goku, Gogeta and Broly are fighting. And this song is actually great. Like, I genuinely love to listen to this song every now and then. Actually, not even every now and then. I love to listen to it a lot. Because the song overall is really well done. And yeah, it plays during this fight. Gogeta is just dodging all his attacks while he stays in normal form. Then they go Super Saiyan. And Gogeta does one of his coolest attacks, which I think the name of it was like Stardust Rain or something, where he kicks Broly into the ground. Like, basically, Broly goes to punch him. Gogeta does this, and then he grabs his arm, throws him back, punches him gives him the elbow in the gut, and then kicks him towards the ground. And then he just hops into the air and he goes, "Alright, watch this move. I shoot this many blasts at once." And he shoots a ton. Like, we've seen like multiple blast barrages before in Dragon Ball, but I don't think we've seen this many, to the point where it's constantly just going downward. Like, that's a lot. Gogeta's putting a lot into that. And then they're still fighting and everything, and they both shoot their blast towards each other, and they completely break time-space. I don't know where they're just like in a weird time-space area, and Gogeta's and they fully acknowledge it. Gogeta straight up goes, "Wait, what's happening now?" And they start fighting and everything in there. Broly goes full power. If you don't understand, when his armor comes off, when you see his armor come off, he's full power. That's what it's been basically confirmed on everything. It's like when he's just fully you can see his body, you can see his upper body. Yeah, he's at full power now, as well as the collar is gone and like the armor is gone. Yeah, pretty much he's full power. So he starts fighting Gogeta in full power, and Gogeta's like, "Oh shit, I gotta power up if I'm gonna fight him in this point." So he goes blue. They start fighting each other, and Broly's just like freaking out and everything. And Chi-Li's like, "You know what? It's all his fault. Like they're running because they have the Dragon Balls, and what they're gonna do is try to bring Broly back to Vamba." And Chi-Li's like, "Dear God, his father, like he's just made him like this. He's now insane. Like, fuck his dad. Now we gotta get the Shenron to bring him towards Vampa." And now Gogeta and Broly are just like still fighting and everything, and Broly's just getting overpowered at this point. And Gogeta does a really cool move where he shoots one blast, he shoots the other, and then Broly gets hit by them. He shoots a barrage of them, and then, ladies and gentlemen, we've waited for it since Gogeta appeared in the movie. He does it, raises his hand, Stardust arrives, he does the Soul Punisher, throws it towards Broly. Broly gets hit by it, and Broly completely survives that. Broly tanks it. He doesn't get ripped apart like Janemba did. When Janemba got hit by that, Janemba got ripped apart. And I know that's not canon, but, still. Like, it still happened. The move still exists. Janemba got ripped apart by that. Broly completely tanked it. But at this point, Broly's really injured and he's getting pissed. So he's like, "I can't lose. I cannot lose." He doesn't say it, but you can tell by his expression. And he starts getting angry and stuff. And overall, they just summon Shenron at this point. And they're like trying to figure out what to do. And Shilo's like, "Alright, listen up, Dragon." And it shows you how fast they're fighting, considering that it took them that long to make it looks like it took them a while to make the wish. When you think about how fast, Dragon Ball fights are and everything, it's like, wow, that fight was actually really fast, canonically speaking, in terms of time. That was really fucking fast. That was probably a minute. Broly shoots a giant blast towards Gogeta. Gogeta just completely dodges it. Shoots a barrage. Gogeta still dodges it. and then Gogeta starts punching the shit out of him, and he gets him in the bind like he did earlier with, like what Goku did earlier, and he just completely, like, explodes the bind. And at this point, Broly's extremely weak and stuff, like, he can barely stand up, and Gogeta's like, alright, cool, full power Kamehameha time. And, like, Whis is getting entertained by this whole thing. Whis is like, holy shit, they can work together, and now they're doing this, like, this is turning out to be really amazing to watch. And they're doing a full power Kamehameha, and just as that's happening, Chi-Lai's like, alright, bring him back to Vampa now! And he completely shoots it at Broly. Broly immediately disappears to Vampa, so he's still alive, but he's now in normal form, of course. And Gogeta's like, oh, well. And, like, it's kind of neat in a way. Like, he swipes his ki away. And then Chi-Lai and the old dude make their escape. Frieza's about to shoot them. Gogeta appears and goes, yeah, nope, not so fast. Like, let them go. And that's mostly because Goku wants someone strong to fight. And I guess in a way, Vegeta doesn't really want to kill him, somewhat. Like, even though he wouldn't mind, it's like, okay, you know what, why not? I'll let him live. So overall, they're kind of, like, combining together with that on their hearts. So they're like, you know what? No. Frieza, no. So Frieza's like, I'll be back for this planet one day, which is interesting to hear, because, actually, it's better to hear it later on, because Frieza talks about how he's eventually going to get Broly and make sure Broly kills them and stuff. And then Goku arrives on Vampa to see the others, and he's like, yeah, I brought some stuff for you. Here's some senzu beans, here's this house, and yeah, and here's a neat little reference. And actually, before I make the reference, we're almost at the end. We're pretty much at the end at this point. But the scene basically is like Frieza talking about how he's like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna get Broly, I'm gonna make him stronger, and he's gonna kill those Saiyans. Meanwhile, Goku and stuff are like, you know what, me and Broly are gonna train, and who knows, we could end up beating Frieza. So now there's two different people who want Broly for different reasons. And overall, Goku doesn't really want Broly to beat Frieza or anything. It's mostly like, I want someone cool to start and train with, but it wouldn't be bad if he beat Frieza. It's just overall, I want someone good to train with. So there's that. And yeah, so he makes a neat little reference to how the senzu beans do not heal diseases. Kind of like his heart disease. So there's that. You know, reference to Goku's heart disease in the Cell Saga. Then they, what else is there? Goku talks about how he's about, like, he got there by instant transmission because he could sense Broly. And Chi-Lai's like, oh, I think you've been hit on the head a few times. Or a few too many times. And yeah, reference to, like, the intro of Dragon Ball and everything. And this is the greatest reference, because literally, and I remember hearing about, like, people on the first day and everything, like, from some people I know, but people who watched it on the first day. He tells like, they asked for his name, because at this point they're like, you know what, he overall seems like a not too bad guy. So what's your name? He's like, oh, my name's Goku. But Broly, call me Kakarot. And when I heard that, I was like, they did it. They made the joke. They told Broly to call him Kakarot. Which, if you really don't know the reference to that, just watch almost any Broly movie that isn't Bio Broly, and even then that's debatable. Watch the original Broly movies and you already know. And possibly play the games. Because him saying Kakarot is just a staple to the series. Or non-canon, but now it's canon. So now it's the staple to the actual canon. And that's it. That's the entire movie. There's a pretty great scene after the credits, which I might put a clip in here, even though Toei might be on my ass. But I'll probably put a clip in here if I can, of Gogeta just out of nowhere grabbing his shirt, and I don't know why he does this. He practically just, like, grabs his shirt and goes, look at my tits. Like, he just shows them off. He just grabs it and goes like this. Like, it's great. It's funny. It's definitely really funny. And it just goes to show you, yeah, Gogeta's kind of an asshole like Vegito. He's a goofy little asshole character that you love. But yeah, that's it. That's it for the movie. There's no, like, the moment Goku does instant transmission, it's over. It just starts showing the credits. Like, it shows the title of the movie and then the credits start rolling. And get some cool shots of the characters that we know, of course, in the movie. And, yeah, that's about it. The movie is really great. I love the story of it. I love Broly's backstory. The fights are really well done. There's some really great CG moments. And the overall area of it is, like, the transitions are nice. Hell, there was moments in the movie where they'd say that, like, they were talking about how hot Vampa was. and then the AC kind of became more hot. But then, like, the moment they got to, like, the Arctic, the AC became more cold. Like, this wasn't because it was, like, sure it was freezing outside, but why would they make it cold then? If it was freezing outside, like, I don't know where they started to make it cold when they were in the Arctic. So it was cool. They were actually adjusting it towards what was happening in the show. And then when they finally got to the lava area, it actually became, like, more of a warm type of thing. Like, slightly cold, but overall it was mostly warm. So yeah, a really great movie. I highly suggest it for anybody who's a Dragon Ball fan. Like, this movie is genuinely amazing. I'm probably, if I can, I'm probably going to pre-order the DVD of this fucking movie. But it was great. I enjoyed it way more than I did Battle of Gods. I did enjoy Battle of Gods a lot. Don't get me wrong. I watched that in theaters. I did not watch Resurrection F in theaters. But I watched Battle of Gods in theaters. And I really enjoyed that. But I enjoyed the Brawling movie way more. And Resurrection F, I mean, yeah, I thought it was good. Of course, like a lot of people think Resurrection F was good because it feels a little bit rushed in places and everything. And the pacing isn't great. But yeah, overall, it's so far, because this could change, because this could become its own trilogy of movies. Because a reminder that Resurrection F and Battle of Gods were Dragon Ball Z movies. They weren't Super, they were Z. And then Broly is Super. So who knows, it could become its own trilogy or something. I did see a YouTuber talking about how that could be a thing. So that is interesting. I would like to see if that would happen. But yeah, pretty great. Highly suggest it if you're a Dragon Ball fan. But that's overall it. And by the way, actually, if you are going to watch that movie, you don't need to watch Super. I mean, it is good if someone catches you up on what happens on Super. That's definitely important. But, like, as long as you get caught up in everything, or at least, like, someone catches you up, they say a few things and stuff, the movie's overall fine. Even if you, like, just watch Dragon Ball Z, you're still going to love it. So, thank you all for watching this review. I know it took a while, and it's probably going to take me a while to edit it. But, you know what? Hopefully you enjoyed it. But I will see you all in the next video.